Alright there guys, and welcome back to a year in review. If you do not know what this is, if you go into my vlog playlist, you will find that I made this very same type of video on this very date in 2018. Basically, a year in review is where I go over the past year, from January all the way up to December, and go all over things that have happened either on my channel or in my personal life. And I have at least one thing to talk about from every single month of this year. Alright, let's just jump right into it. Let's start off with January, of course. The very beginning of the year. Okay, let's start off with the 7th of January. On the 7th of January, it was the first day back after the Christmas holidays for college. So it was the holidays that have just started now. It's the holidays that have started, and we've had a week of we've had just over a week of the holidays so far. It's the holidays we're having right now, but last year and the start of this year. So on the 7th of January, I was just walking up to college. I came to a crossroad where I had to stop, look left, look right, and there was a yellow bus to my left. However, I did not at any point see it indicate. The bus did not. I'm not saying the bus never indicated, but I never saw it indicate. So I walk out into the road thinking nothing of it, and boom! The bus hits me. And luckily, I land on my back, and I had my rucksack on at the time, and I landed on that. So I didn't actually get hurt that much. The only things that happened to me were both my elbows hurt a little bit and my left leg. But other than that, I was completely fine. And I was fully prepared to still go to college, but no, I had to be taken to the hospital. I had to sit there for over an hour and a half waiting for someone to see me, just for me to tell them that my elbows don't hurt anymore and my left leg is fine. I could have told myself that I did not need to waste that much time on something I already knew. The hospital didn't half waste our time that day. So I didn't go back. So I didn't go into college that day or the day after. But the very next thing that happened was the 10th of January. What was that? It was my 18th birthday. And it wasn't even celebrated. I didn't even bother celebrating my 18th birthday because of what had happened to me that week. Possibly the worst way I could have started 2019, and I did. Of course I did. Only me this would happen to. So then we move on to the 19th of January, where we reached 6,000 total video views on my channel, which was a great milestone to hit, a really early one in the year. In 2018, we hit the 2,000 video views milestone quite early on. And then, of course, this year, we hit the 6,000 milestone quite early on. And I was very happy about that. It was a good way to start the year for my channel, hitting a views milestone at the very beginning of it. Now then, let's move on to February. Now, only one big thing of note happened in February, and that was that I met Ash. Who is she? Well, some of you probably know her. Some of you probably do know who she is. Some of you watching probably actually know her in person. And we met on the 7th of February as she decided to suggest that she was going to try and start up an anime club at college. And I thought, hell yes. And guess who else thought it would be a good idea? That's right, David. David's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Even though we all know David is not an anime fan. He barely has watched any anime. Like, literally, if you asked him to name 10 anime, he would genuinely struggle. 5 he could do, he'd probably be able to name, but if you asked him to name 10, he'd struggle. Or he'd just name off all the really popular ones that he's heard other people talk about, rather than actually do any look at it himself. So I went into that room. There was a specific room this was supposed to be set up in, but there was no club. Literally nothing happened. Nothing happened. But the one thing I did notice from that club, from that 1 hour that I spent in that room, is that David didn't really care about Ash at all. And the way I could tell is because in that room, I was sitting with her, and he was running around with cat ears and a cat tail, messing about, acting like a 6-year-old child when he's supposed to be an adult, showing Ash literally no attention whatsoever. But then he realised somebody might catch on that he's not showing Ash any attention because he genuinely doesn't care about her. He's only leading her on. So he goes over to her and hugs her which manipulates her into thinking that he does care when he doesn't. And that's pretty much all that happened in February. On to March. 3 things happened in March. The first one was the 5th of March. Now, the events that happened on the 5th of March happened because on the 16th of February, David and Ash went to ToshoCon, which is a convention in Leeds that happens every year in February. This year's was on the 16th, next year's is on the 29th. And no, before you ask, no, I will not be going. Especially if she's going, but you'll find out why later. So, around less than a week after the convention, David and Ash broke up, and David basically put Ash in basically put Ash in the worst possible mental state he could have before leaving her for someone else. Literally less than a week after leaving Ash, he was already with another girl. Probably a day or 2 after, he was already dating somebody else. It's not like he met someone else and was chatting to them. He was literally dating another person already. Which again proves my point on he never cared about her in the first place. He was only there to lie, manipulate her into doing what he wants, which of course is beneficial to him, until he noticed, he's realised that what she can no longer do anything for his benefit, so he leaves her for someone else that he can manipulate to do the same. So after that happening, me and Rowan decided to invite Ash to go bowling with us one day after college, which happened to be the 5th of March. And I got there first. I got there early, and the other 3 decided to come late. And you'd be thinking, hang on a minute, don't you mean other 2? Well, that's what I thought. But Rowan came with Connor. So Connor came with us to bowling. I was thinking at the time, why is Connor coming? But that actually turned out to be a stroke of genius. Because if Connor and Rowan go first and second for bowling, that gives me more chance to talk to Ash and get to know her. That's what I was thinking when Rowan said that Connor was going to be going with us. So we had a great night, a very enjoyable night of bowling. I got to talk to Ash quite a lot, got to know her a bit better, and I enjoyed myself that night, and so did she. So I felt like that went pretty well. And I decided to ask her, does she want to hang out again sometime? And that takes us to our second event in March, which was on the 14th, 9 days later. I was walking up to college, I know, right? It's almost like we've been here before. I was walking up to college, I was a lot further up this time than when I got run over. And of course this would happen to me. I was about to say only me, but no, this did not only happen to me that very week, or the week after. Basically, I was walking up to college, and these 2 guys that look around my age stopped me and asked me for the time. And I was a bit confused. It's like, why would anyone randomly just go up to someone and ask them for the time? That was my first mistake, stopping, but I feel like if I didn't stop, they would have stopped me themselves. So basically, these 2 dickheads only confronted me because they wanted to rob me. And that's exactly what they did. These two guys basically were able to steal my phone, which you guys know I've been using a different one for the past 9 months, though in fact the one I'm recording on right now, because they stole my phone, but that wasn't enough. They stole my glasses, which I thought they were going to run off with, but they didn't. And one of them punched me in the side of the face like this. Weirdly, it didn't actually hurt that much. So if I've learned anything from that experience, I've learned that I can take a punch. Not like that actually helps me in any way. And after punching me, then he headbutted me right on the end of my nose. That hurt like hell. That freaking hurt. They threw my glasses on the floor and ran off with my phone. So I got mugged and assaulted. Great. It's definitely the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, which made it the worst day of the year. Definitely the worst day of the year, the 14th of March. And the weirdest thing was, guess what I was thinking about 1 minute before these 2 guys confronted me? I had been around, I can't speak. It had been around about a month ago I'd started watching the original Naruto series again, since I'd only watched the first 8 episodes and then just never came back to it until the 14th of February. that's when I started watching it again and then finished it later on. I was thinking about Naruto's Shadow Clone Jutsu. How ironic that the jutsu that probably would have helped me in that situation, I was thinking about 1 minute before it happened. The thing I'm quite amazed about is they asked me for the time, and I said 12:45. Completely guess. It was a complete guess. I had no idea what time it was. And it happened to be 12:41, so I was actually almost bang on correct with the time. Somehow I feel like even if I was bang on correct with the time, saying it was 12:45 and it actually was, that I don't think that would have made any difference to the situation. But the thing is, those two guys had not done that to just me. They actually had done that earlier during the week. And then they did it 2 days, they did it again 2 days after they did it to me. And then 2 more days later, on Monday, so Monday the 18th of March, they did it, they came back, but they had 2 more guys with them, and they beat up another guy while I was walking home from college. And I was very, very lucky, because if my dad hadn't happened to be driving down the road that I was walking down on the pavement at the time that I was, I could have it could have happened to me twice in less than 7 days. That would have been the worst. But my dad was able to scare them off. And they never did it again. So I was devastated because I'd arranged to meet Ash the day after at the time, which really annoyed me. But I was able to see, on the 22nd of March, I was able to see her the day before her birthday. And we had dinner together at a coffee shop, and it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I got to talk to her even more. I got to know her even better. Even when we had finished and were leaving each other, I even got to hug her, so that was amazing at the time as well. And I felt like, wow, I am getting on super well with a girl that likes video games and anime just like I do. And just as much as I do, possibly even more. So that moves us on into April. On the 9th of April, we hit our next milestone on the channel, which was 7,000 total video views. Which was a great milestone to hit. And that meant we'd hit 2 milestones in less than 6 months of the year, which was great. Then the next thing that happened was on the 16th of April, me and Ash went bowling again, as I wanted to see her again. So we did go bowling, and then we hung out again for quite a while. I got to know her even better again. every time we hung out together, I was feeling that we were getting to know each other better and better. We were beginning to like each other more and more. Yet, actually no, let's not reveal that part yet. Let's wait till later on. But we'd hung out together twice by ourselves, but 3 times altogether. And I was very, very much enjoying myself. At the time, Ash felt like the one very bright spark in what had been a horrendous and terrible year so far. Now let us get on to May. What happened in May? Detective Pikachu was released in cinemas. So me and Rowan had actually invited Ash quite a while ago to go and watch it for her to come and watch it with us when it was released. But then we found out that the only day in our cinemas that it was released, we couldn't all go to it. Me and Ash could, but Rowan couldn't because he had college that day. So me and... Oh, wait. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's go back into April first. Because on the 26th of April, which was Rowan's birthday, I started learning to drive. Which I am still doing now. You need a lot of patience. If you're learning to drive, you need so much patience because it's so frustrating that you never feel like you're getting anywhere. So yeah. I started learning to drive at the end of April. So it's been over 8 months since I started learning to drive now. And I'm still nowhere near close to passing my test. Or even having my test, never mind passing it. Okay, now let us go back to May. I had a driving lesson that day that Detective Pikachu was released, the 10th of May, which also happened to be Uncharted 4's 3-year anniversary. So that was another special occasion for that day, for me personally. I had a driving lesson that day, and I still made it to the cinema to watch Detective Pikachu with Ash. And the movie was actually quite good. Considering how many video game / anime movies that have been put into live action have been so awful, this one was actually not bad. Definitely the best live action adaptation of something movie I've ever seen. And let's see if Sonic can do that, give us the same treatment next year. Probably not, but who knows. Okay, June. Okay, on to June, halfway through the year. The first thing that happened in June was Ash, along with every other art student at my college, was having an art exhibition in our town. And I wanted to go, and I did go, because I wanted to... I only wanted to look at her art. I didn't care for anybody else's. Simply because I didn't know any of the other art students. I only knew her. So I went there, and I was the one and only non-art student that actually went to that art exhibition. All the other students there were art students. I was the only one that wasn't. And I still went to go look at Ash's art. This shows and backs up that I cared about her. that I really did care about her and was interested in what she did. But no, we'll keep going. Then, 10 days later, on the 24th of June, I finished college. As I had done my IT exams, passed one, not passed the other, but I had enough really high grades in my coursework that allowed me to get the second highest possible grade that I could have, which I was very happy with. But mostly I was impressed because you guys know what happened to me in my first year of college and how it was a massive waste of time. I signed up for one course, turns out that course didn't actually exist. It was a complete scam and fake. Into another course to reel in students and then make them do something they didn't sign up for. So I had no knowledge of IT going into this course. And bearing in mind this course, this was the level 2 course, not the level 1 course, which was a lot easier. The level 2 course. So I had a step harder course to do with no knowledge, and I came out with the second highest grade that there is, which I was very proud of myself for, and so were all my family. As I worked hard for those grades. Harder than most, harder than a lot of people. And my hard work was rewarded. Now, let us get on to July. Good old July. Well, the first thing that happened on July was on the 10th of July. What was that? We reached 8,000 total video views. So that was the third views milestone of the year that we were able to hit. Which I was pretty proud of. It's another milestone getting us closer to getting us closer and closer all the time to 5 figures in terms of video views instead of 4 figures, which we've had since 2017. But now let us get on to the real meat of July. It was the 26th of July, the day before Comic-Con. Me, Jay, Connor and Rowan all went to Manchester the day before Comic-Con. And we booked the hotel that was right next to the convention. We could literally see the convention from Connor and Rowan's hotel room's window. That's how close we were to the convention. But on the 26th, I was scrolling through Facebook. I went on to Ash's friends list. And who happened to be there that I thought she'd been smart enough to completely cut out of her life completely and cut off any association she had? Correct. It was David. So I thought, as soon as I saw that, I thought, what the hell is this? Why are Ash and David friends on Facebook again? What has happened? So I asked Rowan to message her to ask her, are her and David friends again? And she said yes, because he apologized. What did he apologize for? Let me jump right into it. They started dating on the 20th of December, in 2018, so just over a year ago now. And David basically constantly lied to her by telling her he cared about her, which he did not. Manipulated her to no end by lying to her, because that made her think that he cared about her when he didn't. And he was only pretending to care about her because he knew she could give him so many things that no one else would be able to give him by pretending to care. Literally, the cosplay David had at ToshaCon, which was China from Hetalia, Ash got that. Ash was the one who did that for him. Anything that he did not already own, Ash ordered. She paid for everything. She sewed it. She did everything. The tickets for ToshaCon, she got her own and she got his. He contributed absolutely nothing to this. He contributed absolutely nothing to the relationship. And then, after contributing nothing, he put her, as I've said, he put her in the worst mental state he possibly could have, and then left her for someone else. And then put her in the worst mental state she could have been in, and left her. So yeah, this year, if nothing else, David's true colours were finally exposed by more than just me. Other people that didn't think the way I thought about him saw his true colours and could see who he really is. And how he's a lying, blackmailing, manipulative scumbag who only cares about himself and will manipulate anyone for his own personal benefit and do anything for attention. Even claim to be something he isn't. Okay, but I'm getting off topic, so let's go back into it. So, what did David apologise for? Well, everything I've just mentioned, and the fact that he ruined Ash's ToshaCon Hetalia panel video that she uploaded back in March of this year. Then she unlisted it from her channel. For anyone who doesn't know what unlisting is, it's basically, if you have the link to the video, you can watch it, but if you don't have the link, then you have no way of watching it. You can only watch the video if you have the link to it. That's what unlisted means. So you can't find it if you could just go onto her channel and look for it. You can now, it is there again, as she decided to take it off unlisted and just put it back on her channel like it was. Which showed me who she really cared about. I couldn't believe it, and the worst of it was, she waited till I was in Manchester to do this. It's not like she did this when I was still in our town, where I was around, where she literally waited till I was in a different part of the country before she decided to become friends with him again behind my back. But the worst of it is, she knows how much I dislike him. I even told her, before we even met in Instagram DMs, I literally told her, I am not friends with David, I don't like him. So she knew before we even met that I didn't like him, and she still did this to me. Luckily, that wasn't enough to stop me from enjoying actual Comic-Con, which was, of course, the day after on the 27th of July, and is still the best day of 2019 for me, hands down. It was my second convention ever, my second one in a row at MCM Manchester. It was my first time ever cosplaying. You guys probably know that I cosplayed as Tamaki Suo from Oran High School Host Club at the convention, and every single photo I took at the convention is on my Instagram, and a lot of you guys have already seen them, so you know what I got up. And of course I also posted a Comic-Con vlog, which I'm not entirely sure, it's either one of the, or it is the most viewed video I have uploaded this year, which I'm thankful for. If any video, I'm glad that that's my most viewed video of 2019. And not only that, at the convention, I didn't get to meet them, but I got to see Nolan North and Troy Baker, the actors that play Nathan and Samuel Drake in Uncharted 4, and Joel and David in The Last of Us. I got to see them physically in person. Like, not through a screen. I could physically see them. And that's where my life was complete. Even that was enough for me. Just being able to see two actors, especially Nolan North, who I have been playing the games he's in since I was 6 years old with Uncharted 1 back in 2007. And I got to finally see him in person. Not meet, but see was definitely enough. And Comic-Con was a great day out. And Che left at dinner time last year at Comic-Con. This year he left even earlier. Why does he leave? Why does Che leave early at Comic-Con? I have no idea. He just does. Let's not question it. So, on to August. On the 7th of August, I decided, right, it is time for me to confront Ash about what she has done to me. Bearing in mind, from the 1st of July, I really cared about Ash. Actually, no. Let's be completely honest. Let me be 100% completely honest. From the 1st of July until the 26th of July, Ash, I don't even know if you'll be watching this, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, from the 1st to the 26th of July, Ash, I was in love with you. There you go, I've said it. I have said it. I was in love with you, Ash, from the 1st of July till the 26th. And I was planning on asking you out on the 14th of August. Of course, you were on holiday that week, so that wouldn't have worked anyway. But after what you did to me on the 26th, I didn't even want to ask you out anymore, so I didn't. Instead, I confronted you about backstabbing me. And Ash tells me things such as, he's apologised to me and I've apologised to him. You'd be thinking, what the hell would she have to apologise for? Well, apparently, David was quite annoyed at her for cutting him out as much as she could of her panel video, when he's the one that ruined it. He was the one being disruptive and trying to make everything about him. He wasn't even involved in the panel. He was part of the audience. He wasn't even in the panel, and he still tried to make everything about him. Which shows how little he cares about anyone around him. Everything has to be about himself with David. But just think about this. Lying, manipulating, and then putting you in the worst mental state possible that you've ever been in, and leaving you for someone else. David did all of that to Ash, and him simply saying sorry to her once she just forgets it. She just forgets everything he did to her, forgets all the horrible stuff he did to her, and pretends like it never. And she's now trying to pretend like it never even happened in the first place. And she said things to me like, my mental health isn't doing too well right now. I feel physically sick. That's very inconvenient. You've never once said that you've never once said you feel physically sick before. And also, I cared way more about your mental health than David ever did. Just remember that, Ash. I cared so much about your mental health. I was always checking up on you, hoping you were okay, hoping your mental health is okay. I don't even think mine is anymore. And she was the bright spark from February until July. She was the bright spark of 2019, keeping it from being the worst year of my life. Oh no, I can't even have that. No. Don't you be... What, you think you're gonna have something good come out of this year? Sit the fuck down right there. So yeah. Then she told me that she is thankful for everything me and Rowan did for her. Yeah, Rowan was never interested in dating her, just me. But she led Rowan on just as much as well because he treated her way better than David did as well. Just for her to lead us on, I genuinely think she used me and Rowan the same way David used her. She used us to feel better, to feel have her mental health get better and feel better about herself. And then once she was feeling okay again, she just straight up went crawling back to him. Those two have not started dating again since, but it would not surprise me if they do end up doing it again. Yeah, it really would not surprise me if they started dating again. It would come full circle and David would just do to Ash what he did last time. And no, me and Rowan would not be there for her the second time, like we were the first time. We were there for her when nobody else was. I even told her this. I was like, yeah, when David did all that stuff to you, he wasn't there for you when he made you feel like that. We were. We did not have to do any of this. And yet we still did. But no. Then she tells me and Rowan that she still wants to be friends with us. Does she? Does she really? Unless it was about conventions, Comic-Con, that's the same thing, you idiot. Conventions, cosplay, that's better. Or when me and her were hanging out, she would never text me first about anything. And the 7th of August was the last time I spoke to her on anything. And she's proved how much she really cared about me because she hasn't spoken to me since. Like, you could say you've not messaged her. Yeah, but she hasn't messaged me. It works both ways. I haven't done it because I've had enough of her. She hasn't done it because she never really cared about me in the first place. She just led me on to make her feel better. So she could then go back to the toxicity that made her feel bad in the first place. She literally told me that the things David did to her were traumatic. She literally told me that herself, and then she still forgives him for everything he did and pretends like it never happened in the first place, when it did. Okay, now we'll get on to the next thing that happened in August. The very next thing in August was the 24th, exam results day. I had failed English twice, once at school and once at my first college. So this was my third attempt on my English exam. I really was hoping just to pass this and be done with exams forever. And I did. I was able to pass my exam. I got the necessary grade I needed to pass my English exam, meaning I have passed English and maths, so that's me done with exams forever. At least those type of exams. But because I'd failed English twice already, I wasn't even happy I'd passed, just relieved. Way more relieved than happy. Okay, September. Two things happened. Well, three things actually happened in September, but two of them on the same day. On the 17th of September, it was 1 week until the 1-year anniversary from when my small dog Rosie died. I made a Real Talk episode on it a few days after it happened last year in September. How my small little border terrier dog, who there are a couple of photos of her on my Instagram if you guys want to go see what she looks like or what she did look like. Pretty sure she's just a skeleton now. Right, we were 1 week away from the 1-year anniversary, and my big dog, Kia, who definitely is on my Instagram a lot, I think out of my first 10 pictures, he's 8 of them. And he died as well. 17th of September 2019, Kia had died. It was horrible. We knew that he was going to die soon because we'd had him nearly 10 years. Just 3 days ago, it would have been 10 years to the exact date that we got him. 28th of December 2009. We got him before this decade even started. And we're going into the new decade without him. It was a very, very sad day. But not only did Kia die of old age, I guess the only good thing about it is he died from the most natural cause a dog can die from, just old age. I was right there. I was crouching down right there when basically there was a problem with him we'd had since 12 o'clock that day, where his right side went from here to here. His right side got bigger, but it was not like that when I woke up that morning. My parents had just been for a small little weekend holiday in Blackpool, and I was left at home to be with him. And I guess it's fitting that the person who loved him the most, which was me, was the person he spent his final ever weekend alive with. Basically, on the day he died, I was crouched down right in front of him, and he was laying like this, and then went onto his side, and his heart stopped beating. I watched him die. I literally physically saw him go from life to death. And it was horrible. Another traumatic thing that I never wanted to go through but have done. I mean, there's pictures of him in my bedroom. I mean, here he is. I was a lot younger. back then, that was like, I don't know, maybe 2011, 2012. That was when we'd only had him a few years. But yeah, we lost him. 1 week before the exact 358 days after we lost Rosie. We had 2 dogs die in the space of less than a full year. It was horrible. But we also hit 9,000 total video views on the same day, which is the current views milestone we are at. We have not hit 10,000 yet. We are at 9.9. We are at 9,900. So close, but just not close enough. So I was happy at the start of the day when we hit that milestone, but sad by the end of it because of that. Then 11 days later, David made a post on Facebook on how heartbreaking it is that he is everybody's last choice. I was like, yeah, that's completely untrue. So I instantly called him out on it and proved him wrong by saying, you were not Ash's last choice. You were not Kate, who was another one of his exes, last choice. Instantly proves him wrong. Then his response was, well, how did that turn out? Me, yeah, they didn't turn out well because of the way you treated them. Of course he's not going to think about that. Why would he ever care about how he treats someone? He only cares about how he gets treated. Then he said, you have no right to comment on my love life. Actually, David, I have more right than anybody to comment on your love life. Why is that? Well, because you are the reason the past 2 times I've even tried to have a love life, the past 2 times, you were the reason why I haven't had one. Both times. 2017 and 2019. You guys know what the 2017 was. I've explained it in multiple videos. But the 2019 one, which of course was with Ash. Basically, before me and Ash hung out together for the first time back on the 22nd of March, before that, David basically found out, even though I told Ash, don't tell David because he'll try and stop us from hanging out not because he still wants to be with you, simply because he doesn't want me to be with you. And basically David told me said look after her, and I'm like, this was back in March. The reason I didn't explain it in when we were talking about March is because it's way more relevant now than it would have been then. David in March said to me, treat her right, look after her, and I said, something you didn't do. And he said, excuse me, as if he thinks he actually treated her well when he didn't. Right? He said, don't make the same mistakes I did. And I responded to him with, in return, you don't interfere. And he said, I will only interfere if I find out you're not treating her right. So deal. First of all, David, I could have interfered when you were dating her because you weren't treating her right. But did I? No, I did not. But I didn't even get the chance to date her, and you did interfere. Because I asked Ash who contacted who, and she told me that he contacted her because she had him blocked. Basically, what he did was he contacted one of her friends that he met at ToshoCon back in February in Leeds to ask Ash to unblock him to allow him to apologise for the horrific things he did to her. a convention he should never have even been allowed to go to because he didn't deserve it, because he contributed nothing towards the relationship. But Ash was stupid enough to allow him to apologise and manipulate her again into thinking he didn't do anything wrong to her. Not only that, he tried to manipulate her into thinking the only thing I wanted from her is what he actually got from her. Basically meaning, he said he was basically trying to manipulate her into thinking that the only thing I wanted from her was a relationship. Not because I wanted to be with her, simply because I just wanted a relationship and I didn't care who it was with. That's actually how he thinks. That's what he's like. And he tried to manipulate her into thinking that I was like that. Well, it didn't work, of course. So yeah, David literally tried to interfere even before I said don't interfere. He actually tried to do that. He tried to do exactly what I told him, what I said he shouldn't do before I even said it. You could see, so it's already, he was already going for it. And that resulted in David blocking me. Simply because he hates it when somebody exposes him publicly. That's not on YouTube, of course. That's where I've exposed him the best. But on Facebook, he quickly blocks me and deletes the post that he made about how he's everyone's last choice, because he's risking other people who are not him seeing that post and seeing who he really is, and he doesn't want people to know his true colours, so he can keep making their lives living hell while they benefit his life. Whew. Okay, finally, we're done with September. On to October. On the 21st of October, the two guys that mugged me back in March, the guys that mugged and assaulted me back in March, finally, 7 months later, they got arrested. Finally. So that was at least some good news. The police had finally found them and caught them and arrested them. So at least there is some justice in the world, just not enough. And on the 27th of October, I finally reached 60 subscribers on my channel. It had taken so long. I'd been going through the 50s for so long, and I finally got the 6 and 0 to come up. Finally. God. I was very happy when we finally got it. And you guys know that I set a few goals for this year back in my 2018 year in review. I'll be talking about that at the very end. So yeah, we finally hit 60 subscribers. It was a great achievement for me. And that's all we have for October. Okay, now on to November, which was last month. Last month, on the 20th of November, we hit 4,000 total video views for 2019. Basically, at the end of 2018, for the entire year, I got 3,996 views. Just barely not cracking the 4,000 views mark for the year. This year, we cracked that we cracked that view count with over a month of the year left to go. And we currently have over 4,200 views. So we've surpassed that goal by over 200 views, which is amazing. I'm so happy with it. And on the 23rd of November, we got a new dog. So yeah, it didn't take my dad long to get a new dog. Of course, this dog is definitely not a replacement for Kia or Rose, simply because they are irreplaceable. Neither of them can be replaced by anyone. They are the two greatest dogs I've ever had and ever will have. But we got a brand new dog, a golden retriever, who is currently laying flat out on his side, sleeping right now on his bed, called Mike. I know, a very weird, very strange name to give a dog, Mike, but that's what he's called. He's not an amazing dog. He's okay, I guess. I'm not completely friends with him yet. There is still things about him that really annoy me. But he's growing on, slowly growing on me. There's still a few annoying things about him. Okay, on to the final month of the year, which is, of course, this month, December. The only noteworthy thing that has happened this month is I started doing voluntary work. Basically because I still, 6 months after I left college, because it's been 6 months now since I left college, and I still have not been able to find a job. I've been looking for a job since I left college and have had no success at all with finding one. So I decided to just start doing voluntary work once a week at a nature reserve, because apparently if you've done voluntary work on your CV, it gives you a higher chance of getting a job. So I've gone for it. And it's simply because at the end of November, start of December, I couldn't take it anymore. I became depressed, which for me is incredibly rare. I've never been depressed before, I don't think, at least not like this. And with how this year has gone, my mom actually thinks I could now have anxiety. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I do have it, maybe I don't, I'm not sure. But I became depressed, and I haven't fully gotten out of that mood set yet. I'm still a tiny bit depressed, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was at the very beginning of the month. Yikes, it was horrible back then. But no, it's a lot better now. I mean, the copper thing with YouTube didn't help, but I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm 96 to 97% sure that I have marked every single video I've ever made on my channel and my second channel as not for kids, because my channel is not for kids. No, none of my videos are for kids. So I've marked every single video correctly, so I should be safe from copper now. Hopefully. So that is going to do it. Oh, and it was the 5th of December that I started doing this. I did it on the 5th of December, I did it on the 12th of December, I did it on the 19th of December, and that's it for this year so far. I'm probably going to still be doing it next year, at the start of next year as well. Hoping that a goddamn job will come up that's actually relevant to me and is actually in my damn town that I can go for an interview for and possibly get. Oh. Okay, so so now that we've gone through everything, let's go over a quick recap of everything we've talked about. January 7th, I got run over. 10th, it was my 18th birthday. 19th, we hit 6,000 total video views. February, I met Ash on the 7th, completely being ignored by David, and of course, I could see that from a mile off, but she wasn't able to. But I know what I'm looking for. March 5th, me, Ash, Connor and Rowan went bowling. We had a great time. Connor coming was a stroke of genius. I'm super glad he did come. 14th, I got mugged and assaulted. Terrible, traumatic thing to happen to me. But I've kept going. And 22nd, Ash spent her final day as a teenager with me. And nobody can take that away from me, even though it's not even that big of an achievement anymore. April 9th, we hit 7,000 total video views on my channel. Great achievement. 16th, I went bowling with Ash and hung out with her more, got to know her better, and was really happy with her. Really happy being with her. 26th, Rowan's birthday, and I started learning to drive. May 10th, 10th of May, Uncharted 4 3-year anniversary, and I got to see Detective Pikachu with Ash, got to spend more time with her. June 14th, had dinner with Ash a few days after I went to her art exhibit, see her great art, was the only non-art student there. Dedication. Then, 24th, I left college with the grades I needed for my course, which was getting the second highest grade that you can possibly get, I think. July, 10th of July, we hit 8,000 video views. Another great achievement, kept us rolling along nicely to almost getting close to that 10,000 mark. Then, 26th, Ash backstabs me and becomes friends with David again behind my back when I'm in a different part of the country to her, of course. Then, 27th, Comic-Con, I was cosplaying Tamaki, got to see Nolan and Troy, completed life, yes please. August 7th, confronting Ash about what she'd done to me, telling me that she cared about that she still wanted to be friends with me and Rowan, even though she led us on and we made her feel better, just for her to go back to what made her feel bad in the first place. It made her feel made her feel traumatized in the first place. Then, exam results, got finally passed English, the relief, so much of it. Oh yes. September 17th, we hit 9k video views. And I had to make the over 9,000 meme on Twitter when it did. Then, unfortunately, Kia died. Nearly a year after, just under a year after Rosie died. Then, 28th, had an argument with David on how he's not everyone's last choice, and he makes out that being somebody's last choice is worse than not being their choice at all, which isn't true. October, on the 21st, the guys who mugged and assaulted me finally got arrested by the police. Justice. Oh yeah! 27th, finally reached 60 subscribers, and a subscriber milestone, an achievement I'd been trying to get to for so long, and I finally got to achieve it, making me, I think, the second most subscribed person that lives in my town. The only other person that has more subscribers than me that lives in this town, I think, is Callum Butterworth, who went on The Voice earlier this year and smashed it. He has 66 subscribers, I have 60. So for a little while, I was the most subscribed person in the town that I live in, which is quite cool. I may not have the most subscribed channel, but in terms of an individual person on a channel, I think I was the most. November 20th, reached 4,000 total video views for 2019, an achievement that I just barely missed out in 2018, but I smashed it this year. And then we of course got Mike, who is still down there sleeping flat out, who I'm getting more and more used to now. It's been over a month since we had him. Well, since we got him. And December, started volunteering to hopefully help myself get a job, because I'm still trying to get there. So now that we've recapped everything, I set 3 goals in my 2018 review video, year in review video, for this year. Goal number 1, reach 1,000 video uploads. And we succeeded on that, with my 1,000th video being my final episode of my Uncharted 4 second Let's Play series. You can probably hear Mike sniffing in the background right now. Of course, that series was a redo of my original Let's Play that I made in 2017, because I wanted to make my commentary better, my gameplay better, and add more stories. Just make everything about the series better, and that's what I did. My second goal of 2019 was to reach 10,000 video views, and by less than 100 views, we have just barely missed out on achieving that goal. I thought we actually were going to achieve it when we reached 9,000 video views back in September, but nope, just barely missing out. But that means for 2020, we'll be hitting it very early. Hopefully, we'll hit it in January of 2020 to get 5 figures on my video views, to get to the 10,000. And the third goal I set for 2019 was to reach 75 subscribers. Yeah, that never happened. We didn't even hit 65, never mind 75, although I'm surprised we even hit 60. So for 2020, I am not setting any goals for my channel, because I don't see the point in it with how far off one of the goals was. The only goal that we achieved was a goal only I could achieve. You guys couldn't have done anything about my video uploads, because you guys can't upload my videos to my channel. Only I can, and I desperately need to pee. That's why I'm moving side to side a lot. So 2019 has been the most grueling, the hardest, and the worst year of my life. Definitely. Worst year of my whole life. Most traumatic, most depressing. The whole lot, the worst it could have been. Yeah, when you're at rock bottom, you can't get any lower. So, the only way is up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and this entire year of content. I'm pretty sure this might be the year I've uploaded more videos than ever before. I could be wrong on that one. But thank you everybody for watching this video, and this year's worth of content will still be going strong in 2020, as it'll be a new year, a new decade, and I'm gonna try and not get run over in the first week. So that is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, plenty more coming next year. Follow me on all my social medias, and until next time guys, I will see you next year, next decade. Catch you later.